just do it.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Jacob, can you tell us the experience you had doing this film as opposed to The Room?
Jacob, can you talk about the experience of making this film as compared to making The Room?
Well, Room took place in a tiny, tiny room. But then this film took place in open fields, mountains, and rivers. So, Room was claustrophobic. This was big. It was everywhere.
Excellent, thank you. Is there any, all right, we'll go here, please.
Jacob, you had a lot of challenges for a young fella. Horseback riding, linguistics, languages and stuff like that. What was the most challenging thing that you were faced with?
He's asking, Jacob, that you had many challenges making this film. You had to ride a horse, there were linguistic, language things going on. What would you say was the biggest challenge you had making the film?
I think the most challenge is...
The question?
No, not the question. I've had harder. But I think that the hardest part would probably be learning how to ride a horse, because it was so bumpy. I almost fell off.
All right. At the back there. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
I loved your film. Thank you very much. There was a lot of great themes that I've also been researching on past lives and shamanism. Can you talk more about that?
He really loved the film, and thank you very much for that. He's been doing a lot of research about past lives and shamanism. Can you talk a little bit about that? And I'd love to hear from some other people too about how you approach that in the film.
Let's see, well, from the writing perspective, I always wanted to keep this from a child's point of view as much as possible. And we never state in the film anywhere what it exactly is about this journey for the boy that it compels him. I think it's reasonable. I've always, and again, it's open to interpretation, that's intentional, but I do think that he's looking for an answer to where she is, and he's not getting one at home. And so the work you're talking about, the shamanic work, which deals in both past lives, but also deals in the idea of reincarnation, is, I think, compelling to him, because that's not being, he's living in what we hear is a lapsed Catholic and a non-practicing Jewish home, and he doesn't have an answer. So I think that shamanism, without understanding what it is what's compelling him.
I was going to say, did you have any familiarity with any of this area about shamanism and past life?
No, I have, since I was your age, been obsessed with Mongolia. And even my husband and I, when we're soul gazing, we always joke that he's been a falcon on my shoulder in a past life. There are two places in this world I've been obsessed with: this Mongolia and Morocco, Marrakesh, North Africa. I just always have been drawn to coffee books about them. I've always, and so I was in, and then we shot them in Calgary. Well, some of it. In fact. It's the themes that continue to draw me to stories. I love stories in which the action is action of the heart. And I love this character. I want to be like this character. I want her to muldigte. And it touched me on a profound level at a time in my life where I was grieving on many fronts. And there was grief that I encountered in my life that was so palpable and so unexpected and deep. That aligned strategically for me.
And Virginia, could you speak to that a bit? Had you much familiarity with the subject or of shamanism and past lives?
Well, I didn't really so much take that into, because my role was more of a shepherd and I was kind of joining them on their journey. I think there are things that draw us to certain places in our lives, and if we're smart enough to listen, then we can grow. And all the people in this movie, if they take the time to finally listen to this little boy, they finally begin to listen to one another. And that's a particular thing that I loved about the story. Spiritually, that was obviously their path. But I think that's the larger lesson of it. And I think every people seeing this will see many personal things in the story, and they will feel many different spiritual lessons, and how this movie mirrors their own lives.
Yes.
This question is for Vera. I'm not too familiar whether or not you do have children, but my question to you is, acting is such a free-giving kind of motherly role, having a child in the film that you were willing to just let him explore and kind of do his own thing, climb the tree. Do you think that you learned certain aspects from playing this role that you could maybe put towards being a mother yourself? Like,
All right.
would you be...
That's complex.
That's a large discussion
That's a
between
large,
you and me.
yeah, have you met? Is it? So essentially the gentleman is asking, I'll leave it to you to how you wish to answer it, if at all. He doesn't know whether she has children, but because acting is a lot about flow and interchange, was there anything that she learned playing such an extraordinary maternal character that she could apply to her own life?
I have a 5 and a 7-year-old, and maternity and artistry go hand in hand, and then one informs the other. And in this case, yes, I hope to say that I am a lot like Elise, you know, and it's hard to say what specifically I take. I know that this for me was a very spiritual film, and it was very encouraging at a time in my life, which was quite anxiety-induced and fearful, and so yeah, it gave me a lot, and you know, in turn I gave it my all.
Any other? Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, this question is for Jacob. Jacob, how long did it take you to learn the Mongolian language?
This is a question for Jacob. How long did it take you to learn the Mongolian language?
A week. I started practicing when I was in Calgary. In my hotel, a teacher came in our hotel room, who was actually Mongolian, and she told me some stuff like languages, like what they say, goats and horses and other stuff. And then after that, sometimes like once every Friday, she'd come over to my hotel room and teach me how to speak Mongolian.
You did great. Time for one more question. There, please.
Just a question about filming the birthing scene. Any description of the experience?
The gentleman is referring to the birthing scene.
Listen, it was day 2. We did like 6 pages that day, and it was just, we had no business doing that. It actually worked out, but it was a very complex day. We had to shoot a lot of coverage and a lot of pieces, but that's fuzz, blood, and a condom, just so you know, not to take the magic of movie making for anybody. Yeah, it was complex. We got it, but it was rough. Anybody else?
Why do you keep laughing?
It was pretty gross.
And slimy.
It's like, but no goats were harmed in the making of this film.
It smelled a lot too.
I think we need to end on that note. I've got the thing that we're out of time. I'm not sure Slimy is doing anything, but I want to thank you so